Hey guys, how's it going? It's Danconia and welcome back to the Overwatch League Roundup. Win conditions, Boston Uprising edition. So something that has surprised me is actually Boston Uprising are not that far away from where I predicted them at the start of the season. I honestly thought when we first saw the Boston Uprising in Stage 1 that we'd have the Boston Uprising in a slightly better position than they are now. They are in 17th. With an 8-13 record, equal with the Paris Eternal, Houston Outlaws and the Los Angeles Valiant, but a -18 differential is gonna hurt Boston big time. They've had a difficult Stage 3, and they need to get wins, and not only wins, they need to pick up big wins in Stage 4. So, we will look at their schedule, and actually, it's not all doom and gloom for the boys from Boston. So, first of all, in Week 1, they will play the Guangzhou Charge and the Chengdu Hunters. So, I think the more difficult game here is against Guangzhou. Going into a 2-2 meta, I think Guangzhou might be fairly strong, especially with their very capable DPS, especially Happy's Widow. And I think that's more difficult than a game against Chengdu right now. Boston are quite capable of beating both teams, but they need to step it up a gear. They need to, much like I said with Paris, prove they deserve to be at the play-ins. Because if they can prove that they deserve to be in the play-ins, they'll pick up these wins, and they will get there. In Week 2, they won't play. In Week 3, they play the Washington Justice. Well, this has to be a 4-0. Looking at the Boston Uprising's map differential, they have to sweep the Washington Justice. They have to just blow them out of the water, make it a really quick game, and make the league annoyed, and Twitch chat annoyed because they won't be getting their tokens. You need to make that a really quick game, 4-0, sweep the Washington Justice. In Week 4, you also play the Florida Mayhem. Well, that's another sweepable game. So there's 8 map differential. You could eat away on your deficit there. Then they have to play the Valiant. Ha 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 ha. It's never an easy road. Valiant is going to be difficult. It's one of the more difficult games of Boston's stage, but they can do it. It just depends whether the resurgence of the Valiant is still around come the end of Stage 4. Valiant might be in the play-ins at this point. We don't know. But Boston, it's kind of a must-win. It's kind of a must-win. Especially with the position they're in. They're so far adrift in terms of map differential. They need to win it via wins, not via squeaking in by map differential. I think if Boston get there, they could cause some upsets in the play-ins, but it's getting there that's going to be the tricky part. At the Kit Kat Rivalry Weekend, which I seem to have not talked about for a while because some teams haven't been playing in it, but the Kit Kat Rivalry Weekend, Boston will play the New York Excelsior. Yeah, that's not going to be easy. If Boston win that one, which, in all fairness, New York could be sewn up in second place, and they might sandbag the game and give Boston a win, but let's go on the fact that New York are actually not going to sandbag. It's going to be tough for Boston. If they can get a win there, then providing they've got the wins they need to get earlier in the stage, that should seal them up in a play-in. But it's going to be incredibly tough, and I would expect Boston Uprising to drop that game. Then they play the Atlanta Reign. So this is a must-win. Like, Atlanta Reign currently are one of those teams that are in those places that you're trying to take hold. And it's just a must-win game, but you look at the games Boston have got. Atlanta Reign, Florida Mayhem, Los Angeles Valiant, Washington Justice, Chengdu Hunters, Guangzhou Charge. 6 winnable games out of 7. 6 winnable games out of 7. I say you could drop one of those games. You could drop one of those games to the Guangzhou Charge or the Valiant or something. And you possibly could still get in the playoffs with a 5-2 record. Or the play-in, sorry. So, Boston's schedule is favourable. But they are adrift in terms of map differential. So they're going to have to really, really push on in Stage 4. And, you know, you look back at it, a 3-1 loss to the Paris Eternal in Stage 3. You know, that's going to hurt if you miss out. 4-0 loss to the Houston Outlaws. you know, you might look back at some of these games, especially that 3-1 loss to the Paris Eternal in week 1 of Stage 3, and you might think that cost us this play-in place. And it might come down to that. It really might come down to that. So, Boston, the aim of the game, just like the Paris Eternal, prove to us you deserve to be at the play-ins. Because if you prove to us that you deserve to be there constantly throughout Stage 4, you will get wins against the Guangzhou Charge, Washington, Florida, Chengdu, and that will get you there. It's about wanting it. And a lot of people will say this, and you look at some games and the team just wanted it more. It's about wanting it. And I believe, especially with Fusions at the helm, Boston will give absolutely everything to get to those playoffs, or those play-ins. But those were your win conditions for the Boston Uprising. We have 3 teams left, and here it starts to get very, very tricky. Next up will be the Toronto Defiant, and they are 1 win behind the Boston Uprising, and it's not looking too brilliant for Toronto. But we will discuss them in the next video, which is probably going to be the same day. And then you'll have the boring day where we'll have to analyse the Washington Justice and the Florida Mayhem, which is going to be... Yep, that's going to be something. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. See you then.